So, how do you take to your views on who you would have voted for pre-COVID for this election cycle and post-COVID now for this election cycle?
It would have been DeSantis in both cases.
And why would that be?
I don't like drama and I like things getting done.
Okay, first off, I was a Democrat who switched registration just specifically to vote for Nikki Haley tonight. So I'm not sure how that fits in with your question, but pre-COVID and post-COVID, I would never have voted for Donald Trump anyway. And I would. The only reason I would vote for Nikki Haley at this point in time is as a strategic vote to help to try to give her a boost coming out of Iowa to going into New Hampshire to try to disrupt Donald Trump's momentum.
Actually, the candidate I chose was the same one for both. I'm a middle-of-the-road Republican. I voted for Bill Clinton twice. We're in agriculture, my family is, and he was really good for us. I supported Trump. I have voted for Trump every time. I will vote for Trump again. He makes us feel secure. We don't have to worry about, with him in office, other countries coming in and invading us or pushing us around. He's not about big government. He's a lover of our country. He's the best promoter this country has. So I'm real solid with him. I think he'll be our next president.
So I probably would have picked Trump if COVID hadn't been part of the picture, but I think that threw a wrench in everything. So just the way things played out tonight, I believe that DeSantis was the better candidate to vote for. So I voted for him. Trump won at least our precinct. So if he's the general candidate in the general election, I'll still vote for him. But with COVID, I do believe, and everything that happened because of COVID, I do believe that Ron DeSantis would make a better chief executive.
Yes, you need to fill that.
I honestly didn't see any difference between the two, honestly. Iowa was, I think we were only closed for a couple weeks. I didn't really notice any difference. People really didn't. I mean, we wore masks, but we still went out. We didn't hide in our houses in the basement, trembling in fear. It didn't really make a difference that I saw at all.
Well, I think DeSantis had a strong showing. I think he's going to continue to have a strong showing across the state as results fall in tonight, and I think DeSantis is going to be at the top of the list tonight.
Well, I originally wanted Donald Trump, and the reason before pre-COVID was because he was strong on the economy, he was strong on foreign affairs. However, when it came to COVID and when he started giving people handouts on COVID money, that's when I realized that Donald Trump was not the candidate for me. And in terms of after COVID, I ended up voting for Ryan Binkley because I actually support his views on the economy, his views on just the carbon pipeline issue, because the carbon pipeline issue represents all of landowners. And I'm 22 years old. We need to figure out our economic issue. We're $34 trillion in debt. Ryan Binkley was the only one that represented those views.
And do you have any difference you would have observed from him pre and then post-COVID?
Well, he ended up winning a purple state and helping turn it red. He seemed to rely on evidence but make the decision that he felt was best for his people. And he seemed to get most of the things he wanted to get done.
I was a Trump guy, before COVID, and I don't think he handled COVID properly. He locked our country down. He'll lie to you and tell you that he didn't, but he did. Governor DeSantis, Governor Kim Reynolds were two of the first governors to push back and say, no, we're not doing this, and that's why I support Governor Ron DeSantis.
Okay. Was there any difference then in how you observed Trump pre and post-COVID, whether positively or just changing your expression of his platform?
Well, last time I voted for Trump.
Okay.
And, if they would allow him to win again, I'd probably vote for him again, but they're not going to allow it. So
I think Trump, before his first election, was very heartfelt and he was very real. The second election, I think he turned himself off. because of advice from the poor advice he was getting from people around him. I believe now he's got himself turned back on 125%, and I truly believe that he cares about our country. And I think if you look at him, he looks like he's lost weight. He looks like he's in better shape, and he's better shape mentally. I think he's in better shape now to be president than he ever was. And look at all the battles he's fighting. At the same time, he's having to fight all these erroneous battles and still keep it all together. Man, I want somebody like that in office, because the largest business in the United States is the U.S. government. And as a citizen, we should be concerned about our government. And myself, I'm named after my grandfather who died in World War II on the Rhine River. So I care about our country. But at the same time, the division that's in our country, I've got a son who is chairman of the Drake University Democrats. Great kid, really good person, hasn't spoke to me since the last time I voted for Trump. Why? I don't know. I'm willing to speak to him, and I don't condone anybody for their politics. But this division we have in our country, people need to get over it, and we need to put our country number one, and we need to worry about Social Security, not taking it away. I'm sure you have parents. I had parents, and Social Security was dynamic in their retirement, as it should be anybody. So I'm supporting Trump for that also. And our borders is just a slaughter. We have to get our borders back secure. And yes, we need immigrants. We need people to build our country, but we got to take care of our country first. Let's take care of our country first, and then we can look outside our doors and see what we need to do for somebody else.
And then this was different from the other questions I asked people, because they had actually had different candidates. But I suppose for yours, how do you feel with the results now that your candidate had won out in this?
Well, I came into this precinct for this caucus knowing that there would be a lot of diversity, and we're here in the West Des Moines Marriott, which is the headquarters of Nikki Haley, and she only got 17 votes. Trump got 26, DeSantis got 17, and I was one of the counters. Everything was double counted and then triple counted, so everything's done above board. The results kind of came in like I thought they would. Nikki Haley doesn't have the traction, and even if DeSantis drops out, all of his people aren't going to go with her. We know that Nikki Haley is, I don't know how to put it in words that aren't nice. I call her a warmonger. She's a Bush Republican. She's about fighting wars. She's about big military. She's about all them things. Yes, we got to have military. We got to support our country and protect our country, but we don't need to be getting in these stupid wars. I'm a guy that I believe in peace. I liked Trump because he kept us out of wars. If there's a conflict, make it quick, make it sting, so the other bad people don't come back and do it again. You got to kind of rule with an iron fist, but at the same time take care of your people.
So, based off of how the vote went for your preferred candidate, how then do you feel about this election, or this election primary, where compared to the Democrat primary, the Republicans have remained in the state while the Democrats have left it because they wanted to make a more diverse setting for a primary in the Carolinas?
Well, I think that's the story of the Democratic Party right now. Is they're all about racial politics, and Iowa is too white for them. So they don't think that represents what their party is, and they can do what they want with their own party. But I think that kind of rubs a lot of middle Americans the wrong way, where it shows, the Democrats really don't care about us. I mean, they're leaving us out explicitly now. So.
both parties have their own views on where diversity and inclusion is going to be. So, if the Democrats want to do it in South Carolina, let it be it. But we have to remember in 2020, the Democrats in Iowa screwed up their First Nation caucus status. And that's why they lost that status. It wasn't because of diversity and inclusion. It was because they solely screwed up the voting tabulations, and it took over days to get that figured out. You may never know, we could still have the results still missing in action now. In terms of the Republicans, I think it's right to have the First Nation status here in Iowa. And Iowan farmer, we need to hear from all rural, suburban, and urbans of Iowans. It's not about diversity, it's about true Americans. That's what the Republicans have right over the Democrats.
If they want to do that, that's their prerogative. I mean, we're a free country. And if they'd rather go somewhere else, be my guest. Just don't expect a lot of support from us because, it was kind of like something that I heard that Nikki Haley had said. She had said that Iowa starts it, and she was catering to Pennsylvania, and she said that they correct it. And it's like, correct what? Because that's kind of rude. And then the great state of South Carolina brings it home. That was kind of a diss to Iowans, and I think most of us took it as such. But I don't know. If the Democrats want to go somewhere else and start it, then, be my guest.